Hello everyone. So we are here with the session on advanced business communication. And as you all know, in the last session of advanced business communication, we were discussing about the different types of non-verbal communication. So if we talk about different types of non-verbal communication, we've already discussed about 3 different types. And today we'll be studying about the 4th type of non-verbal communication, that is proxemics, territory, or the space. You all know that different space have different meanings in non-verbal communication. Like seeing the distance, seeing the space between two individuals, you can get to know that what kind of a relationship those two persons have. Right. Even space also tells you whether you are confident in answering, whether you are lacking confidence. So there are a lot of things which we get to know by seeing that space. So proxemics is used with reference to space or territory. With proxemics, it is used basically in reference to the space or the territory which we have. A lot of communication takes place non-verbally through the sheer manner in which we use the space around us. It is actually true that there is a lot of communication which takes place non-verbally with the use of this space. Many times it happens that we do not have to say a word and we communicate with the other person using the non-verbal signals of the space. People from diverse culture may have different normative space expectations. We all know that different peoples have different culture, have different meanings of the space between two individuals. So people from diverse culture, let's say if we talk about USA, they're standing too close to each other is quite normal. Hugging each other is quite normal. But if we talk about India, it's not normal in our culture. It's not at all normal in our culture. So people from diverse culture may have different normative space expectations, and physical space is needed by all, although its need varies as per the situation, culture, and closeness of friendship. So physical space is needed by all, although its need vary as per the situation, culture, and closeness of the friendship. Space, you know, whosoever is talking, there's going to be space between them, but the space depends, varies from the closeness of the relationship, from which culture we belong, from which, in which situation we are standing, where we are standing. So depending upon the situation, atmosphere, surrounding, culture, closeness, the space increases or decreases between two individuals. Now, classification of the space around us. How you can classify the space around us? Here, seeing this picture, what do you think? What is the relationship between these two? Seeing this picture, we can say they share a very close relation with each other. maybe a relation of mother and daughter, maybe a relation of the some close relative, that is aunt and the niece. So whatever it is, but yes, seeing this picture, we can say that they have a very, very close relation with each other. So what do you say this type of space? So basically we'll be discussing about the four different types of space. Seeing this picture, what do you say that what kind of space is there between them? So here we'll say it to be the intimate space which is there between these two individuals. So if we talk about intimate space, it means most body movements take place within 18 inches around us. So it is the very close body movements, that is the space between two individuals can be maximum up to 18 inches around us. It do not exceed more than 18 inches. So somewhere between 12 to 18 inches is the ideal space between two individuals, between the body movements of two individuals when we talk about the intimate space. It is our most intimate circle of space. In this space, only very close people or family members can enter this space. All the people are not welcome to enter into this place. Only the very close individual, very close family members can enter into the space, be it through a whisper or a pat on the back or a handshake. So these are the basic ways by which the people can come together. So only very close people, very close family members who are very close to us, who are very attached to us, they can enter into this space. Other people are not allowed to enter into this place with whom we do not have that strong, close, intimate relationship. It means that the less the space between the two persons communicating, the more intimate in the nature of communication is. Whenever we communicate with this intimate space, it shows that the nature of communication between two individuals is very intimate. It is very, very, very close to each other, because the lesser the space between two persons communicating with each other, the more intimate is the nature of communication. Second is seeing this space. What do you think? What kind of a space is this? What kind of space is this? So if we talk about this kind of space, it is the personal space. Personal space extends from 18 inches to 4 feet. Now this space can be somewhere between 18 inches to the 4 feet. We have normal conversation with friends, colleagues, and associates. When we talk about this personal space, in the personal space, we usually have the normal communication, normal chat, normal talk with the friends, colleagues, and our associates. So it is used in informal talks and impromptu discussion in which one may not be averse to take important decisions. So it is something where we are in the office, people are around us, and we are talking over there. So that is the personal space, where the space is not too much and the space is not too close. So here they just share a normal relation with each other. So in that relation, they are somewhere close to each other, around 18 inches to 4 feet. So here usually they do not talk about something very serious. They do not take any important decisions. They do not share their secrets with each other. So here, when we talk about personal space, it extends from 18 inches to 4 feet. The third type of space is, seeing this, what kind of space comes in your mind? What space comes in your mind when you see this? So seeing this, it says that it is the social space. This can be anywhere between 4 feet to 12 feet. Now this is the space which is between 4 feet to 12 feet. It reflects a formality of relationship. Now these relations are neither close nor too attached with each other. So this relation only shows the formality of the relationship. That is, it also reflects the lack of spontaneous behavior. Any random person, let's say we are at a place where we are playing, we are at a sports club. So here, there, what space do we have between us? There we share the social space. So an individual response are more collective and well thought out, and social space reflects reason, planning, control, and usually associated with the business communication within a formal relationship. So whenever we have a formal relationship, whenever we are into the business place, whenever we are conducting any kind of meeting, there usually we have this social space among us. So social space, it reflects the reason, planning, control, and usually associated with the formal business communication. The last type of space is this. Now, people are too far from each other. So this is the public space. So it starts from a distance of 12 feet and there is no end distance for this. 15, 20, 25, it can be anything. So this starts from a distance of 12 feet. One has to raise one's voice to be heard. Now, a person has to raise his voice if he wants the other person to hear us. Let's say in the garden, we have public space. Whenever we are walking, there we share the public space. So anywhere where the distance is more than 12 feet, we share the public space with the other person. So there is a lack of personal feeling and there is no added sense of detachment. So it is the normal casual conversation which happens between the individual. You have to raise your voice, you have to shout loudly so that you can share, you can just convey your message to other person, and there is no hard and fast personal feeling, personal touch with other person. If you have a personal feeling, if you have a personal touch, for that you always share the intimate space. If you even want to talk, if you even want to share something which is you want to share your secret, you want to communicate some important message, but that should not be shared with each and every person. For that purpose also, you always share the intimate space with the individual. So these are basically the 4 different types of space which we have discussed in today's session. Now with the space, we have done with all the different types of non-verbal communication. Now today, we are also going to discuss about the tips to perfect your non-verbal communication at workplace. Now, what are the tips by which you can perfect your non-verbal communication at workplace? The first thing is, always remember that you are being watched. If you think that you are being watched, you know, your each and every action you take, the gestures you show is a planned gesture. You randomly do not show any action, you randomly do not show any gesture. So when you are on a video call, it's easy to forget that someone else is on the other end seeing everything from your camera. You know, you might be thinking that I'm using a small device like a tablet or a phone during my voice conference, video conference, but you know, the people on the far end, the people on the other end, may see you on a large, ultra high definition TV in a conference room. So, without realizing it, your non-verbal communication is amplified on the screen to everyone in the meeting room. So, whether or not the other person is seeing you, when you are into the formal meeting, when you are into the video conference, always assume that you are being closely watched by the other person, so that you make sure that you are using the right gestures, right hand movements, right posture. So you are not using any kind of useless non-verbal communication. You are not communicating non-verbally in a very strange or a very different manner. So make sure that always remember one thing, that you are always being watched by the other person. The second thing is, be mindful of your body language. You know, being present and engaged during the video call, it will allow you to notice your subconscious body language, like leaning, slouching, stretching, getting distracted, moving your face here and there, up and down movement of the face. You know, it will help you to notice all these subconscious body languages which you are doing while you are into the meeting. You know, even if you are not the presenter during the video call, you're not presenting anything, you are not speaking anything, you are just being a listener of what the other is saying, it is important to be aware of your body language and what it is saying to the speaker and meeting participants. It is very important to understand that what your body language is trying to show to other person, what your body language is speaking about your intentions, about your views to other person. Show that you are actively listening by remaining attentive, sitting erect with good posture, and giving occasional head nods. So it is very important that whenever you are presenting yourself, whenever you are sitting in the meeting, no matter whether you are presenting your views or not, whether you are speaking during the meeting or not, you just have to make sure that you control your body language. You are not showing your unnecessary body movements, which is giving wrong message to the speaker who is presenting his thoughts. You know, body language, the right body language doesn't need to be shown only when you are speaking, when you're presenting something. No, even if you are the part of the meeting, even if you are there to listen to what others are saying, it is very important that you listen to each and every person and use your right body language, which shows that you are paying attention towards what the other person is saying. Third point says, put your phone down. You know, you might think that I'm on the video call, and if I'm going to use, how the other person is going to know whether I'm using a phone or not. You know, the moment of the eyes, the moment of your face, the expressions you give, the smile or the anger, the emotions which you show on the face clearly indicates the other person who is observing you, who is seeing you, that you are getting diverted to some other thing. During a video call, make sure that your cell phone and other distractive devices are silenced and always away from your line of sight. You know, even a single notification or single beep can draw your eyes attention away from draw your eyes attention towards your phone, making it away from the business at hand and making you appear to be distracted and uninterested. Believe me, if you just show your eyes to be distracted, it shows that you are distracted. And yes, it is actually true that even a single beep on your message distracts you from the business, from the meeting, which is moving right in front of you. Fourth, look into the camera. There's nothing more important than eye contact when it comes to showing confidence, interest, trustworthiness, attentiveness towards the speaker. The eye contact is the only and the best way by which you can show that you are paying proper attention to what the other person is saying. Until and unless you do not use your proper eye contact, you do not show your eye contact during the meeting, it is going to show that you are least interested in whatever discussion is going on. You are not paying proper attention to the discussion which is going on, and ultimately, speaker will get the negative views seeing you. Making eye contact during the conference call, video call, by looking directly at the camera, not onto your computer or TV screen, when you are speaking, will always leave a positive impression of yours on the mind of the speaker or on the mind of the listener when you are presenting yourself. So make sure you always use your right body language to showcase, to present yourself. You need to control your body language, that whatever is running in your mind, body language is something which automatically shows whatever is running in your mind. Non-verbal communication is the effect of whatever is going in your mind and heart. These non-verbal communication doesn't change by the way what you are speaking. That is why we say that the person who is good in understanding your body language, in understanding the non-verbal sign of communication, he can easily find out that you are being honest or you are hiding something. Are you lying? Are you confident? Do you believe what you say? So that is why it clearly gives us the picture of the mindset of other person. So whenever you are into the video call, video conferencing, make sure you are always looking in the camera, not on the screen, not on the devices around you. The fifth point says avoid excessive movements and dramatic hand gestures. This. Please avoid doing these dramatic hand gestures. During the conference calls, you should try to keep your body movements as calm, as relaxed as you can, because that is very important. People are not here to see your dramatic gestures, to see your dramatic expressions. People are here to communicate with you. People are here to discuss with you. People are here to share their views, and they want your proper attention. They want both verbal and non-verbal positive signs that you are listening to, that you are an attentive participant of the meeting. Please avoid fidgeting with the pen, excessive shaking your legs, doing anything, scribbling on the paper, scribbling on the board that conveys your nervousness or boredom, that you are getting bored, you are getting nervous. Please stop doing that thing. We understand that you are sitting at the comfort of your place, but that doesn't mean that your formal meetings, formal things, you do not take them also seriously. It is very important for you to take all these meetings, all the things very seriously when it comes to business meetings. Whether the meetings are happening in the physical form or the meetings are happening virtually, you have to understand that those are the formal business meetings. And when we talk about the formal business meeting, it means you need to be formally dressed up, having a plain, proper background, and do not use the wrong, excessive, dramatic body language when you are sitting in the meeting. When you are speaking, you can use your hand to show your gestures, but avoid being over animated. Use the gestures which shows the positive sign, positive meaning, which delivers the positive meanings, not the gestures which are getting dramatic, not the gestures which are conveying the wrong meaning. So do not go with the dramatic hand gestures that can be distracting for the meeting participants also. It doesn't cause distraction for you, rather it also get distracted for the participant, especially on the video conference call where you all are sitting too close to the camera. You know, even a small thing which you do is clearly visible on the camera. So at that point of time, you need to be very cautious about what gestures, what movements, what hand movements, what posture you are using, what normal non-verbal signs you are giving. So it is very important that you avoid the excessive movement and the dramatic hand gestures. And the last point says, be aware of your facial expressions. Be aware of what kind of facial expressions you are using. Unnecessary laughing, showing the anger sign, showing the nervous sign, you know, everything is visible. Though you might be thinking that you are sitting far away from each and every person, but do you know this technology, the technology which you are using, it is bringing you too close to the other person. You know, the other person can easily check and easily know what expression you are making. So be thoroughly aware about your facial expressions which you are using during the conversation. You know, though it is the last point, but it is the most important point that you need to be aware of the facial expression throughout the entire video call. You know, the emotions shared through the facial expressions are universal and are often the strongest nonverbal communication during a video conference. These are the universal emotions. You cannot say that the emotion which I am showing right now carries some other meaning. No, if you are doing like this, it has the universal expression, it is a universal expression which has the universal meaning that you are smiling. If you are like this, it is a universal expression showing that you are sad. If you have lines on your forehead and the eyes are going that way, it shows that you are staring someone. You know, you are just very tensed about what the other person is saying or what things are going around you. So the emotions shared through the facial expressions are the universal emotions and are often the most strongest verbal, non-verbal communication which can be used during the conference call. In long meetings, especially if you are not presenting, it's easy to let your face frown or look bored without realizing it. So these are some of the expression. You know, the facial expression, they doesn't come by what we are speaking, they comes with what is running in our mind. If we are happy, happiness will automatically be shown. If we are sad, sadness will be shown. If we are just curious to learn about something new, curiosity will be shown. If we are afraid, the gesture of being afraid will be shown. So in long meetings, especially like whenever you have 5 to 6 hours of meeting and you do not have to present anything, you just have to sit at your place and you just have to attend that meeting. You just have to listen to what other persons are saying, and that at that point of time, you know, it's easy to let your face frown or look bored without realizing it. You won't even realize that what non-verbal communication you're giving, because that comes by default. So try to maintain a positive and a neutral facial expression with an occasional smile throughout the meeting. Just try to do that. A pleasant, friendly smile lets the speaker know you are engaged and enjoying the meeting. If you carry a pleasant smile, if you carry a sweet little smile on your face throughout the presentation, it is going to boost his confidence also, and it is going to tell him that you are interested, you are genuinely interested, and you are genuinely listening to what the other person is saying. So a pleasant, friendly smile leads to speaker know your engagement in and that you are enjoying the meeting. So with this, we have come to the end of the session where we have discussed about the tips by which you can improve your non-verbal communication at workplace. So with this, we have finished off with the verbal and the non-verbal communication, which we use when we are communicating at business, at our business place, at our personal place, in the society, wherever we are communicating. We always use both the things, the verbal as well as the non-verbal communication, because non-verbal communication is something which accumulates to almost 55% of the message which you are sharing. Now, in the next session, we will be discussing about the few of the barriers to effective communication, like what are the barriers which stops the communication to be effective when you are trying to send your message to the receiver. So with this, we have come to the end of today's session. Now, in the evening, we'll have the next session of the day, and that is group discussion and entrepreneurship. So at 4, we'll start with the group discussion session. So that's all for the day. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day.